thunder, there's a rumble in the house.
Fans streaming into the Thomas & Mack Center for Arena Bowl 20. The match between the Orlando Predators and the Chicago Rush
have advanced to Arena Bowl 20.
So it's set. It'll be the Chicago Rush and the Orlando Predators in Arena Bowl 20, Las Vegas. And there is the Arena Bowl trophy as the final strains of the national anthem end here at the Thomas & Mack Center. And the Chicago Rush and the Orlando Predators getting ready to meet in this 20th championship game of the Arena Football League. Ready for the coin toss. And participating in the ceremonial coin toss today will be General Robert L. Van Antwerp, Commanding General of the United States Army Accessions Command.
Gentlemen, good afternoon. On behalf of today's crew of officials from the Arena Football League, we want to wish both teams good health. The general here, he's going to toss this coin. That's the head side. That's the tail side. Mr. Brown, we want to welcome you. Thank you. General, toss the coin, let it hit the ground.
We got to make a call.
Who's the visitors? Make your call. He called tails.
Looks like too quick. All right, here we go.
It's heads. Orlando's won the toss. Orlando won the toss and has deferred their option to the second half. They're going to receive. Which way are you going to kick? You kick that way? Start the game. Chicago will receive.
So all the pregame hoopla winding up and about ready to play some arena football. I'm joined now by Pat Hayden for Arena Bowl 20. And so Orlando wins the toss, defers to the second half. That means they get the ball to start the third quarter. So Chicago really had a struggling regular season until the very end. In fact, Coach Mike Hohensee really remade his team. But their young quarterback, Matt DeRazio, seems to get better and better each week. During the regular season, he led the league in fewest interceptions. And as you see in the playoffs, 15 TDs, only one has been picked off. But the thing about Chicago, Pat, is they can beat you in a lot of different ways.
Well, ever since Knute Rockne, I mean, every coach that I've known is talking about balance. Well, that's what Chicago has had, a balanced attack in these playoffs. On offense, they've been fantastic. 59 points a game, largely because they protected the ball. And then on defense, a +5 turnover margin. And they've sacked opponents as well. And they've scored on defense. And they've stopped opponents. And then it just doesn't end there. They've had 2 special teams touchdowns as well, Tom. So they play good offense, very good defense, great special teams. And what you have here, as you said, a balanced Chicago team led by a quarterback that's very, very hot. Remember, they've won 3 playoff games in the row on the road. This game's on the road. They're looking for their first Arena Bowl championship.
And they're winning string 5 in a row going back to the regular season. You managed to work Knute Rockne into the... Very good.
Every game should have Knute Rockne involved.
Well, this Orlando team, led by their quarterback, Joe Hamilton, who this season established career highs in just about every important category and was named second team All-AFL. But man, Pat, the Orlando defense has been dominant in the playoffs.
Well, Tom, there's a reason they just introduced their defense. Now, they have been phenomenal in the playoffs. The last 2 weeks, how about against Philadelphia 2 weeks ago? Tony Graziani did not have a chance. Just smothered all day long by the defensive ends and the inside. And then Clint Dalzell last week, who had as good a year as you can have as a quarterback, just could not get anything going, only threw 1 touchdown pass last week, threw a couple of interceptions. And the other thing to me amazing about this Orlando defense, Tom, in their 2 playoff wins in the second half, they've only allowed 10 points the entire second half of both games. It's been phenomenal.
That is amazing, and we want to hear from the 2 starting quarterbacks today. First, Joe Hamilton. He's with Lewis Johnson. Lewis?
All right, Tom, thanks a lot. Well, Joe, your team has fought all season to get to this opportunity. As their quarterback and their leader, what do you have to do to kind of keep the wheels on through all of this championship excitement?
Well, I got to make sure I settle down and let them know that I'm here to win. I'm poised, ready to lead this team. More importantly, we got to protect the ball. I got to, have a real premium on protecting that ball. Last but not least, man, have fun. Just another game, but it's for something. That's about it.
All right, Joe Hamilton with a smile. Good luck to him. And we go down to Marty Schneider on the Chicago bench. Marty?
And as I said earlier, Chicago is making their first ever Arena Bowl appearance. Matt D'Orazio is the leader of that team. So much has gone into this. How bad are the nerves right now?
They're all right. We just want to go out there as a team, play as hard as we can, have some fun today. It's going to be a good day.
Only 27 points earlier this year in a loss to Orlando. Why will this game be different?
You know what? I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
All right, Matt D'Orazio, the leader. Chicago running a 5-game winning streak heading into Arena Bowl 20. Tom?
All right, Marty, and we're ready to go. The 2 coaches, Hohensee and Gruden. And Chicago will go on offense to begin the game. They rush the visiting team officially in the white and the Predators in their black jerseys.
Guess what, Tom? You know what I feel, don't you?
Kickoff return for a touchdown, maybe.
I absolutely feel it today in my bones. It's going to happen.
Jay Taylor's kick fielded by Russell Shaw. Got a block. And finally knocked out of bounds. A good return, though not a touchdown.
There'll be a few more kickoffs in this game, is my suspicion.
And the starting offensive lineup for the Rush, led by their young quarterback, Matt D'Orazio, in his first Arena Bowl.
Boy, has he played well, as you mentioned. 15 touchdowns, 1 interception.
McMillan, Robinson, Molden, and Scipio. Molden bothered with injuries in the postseason. Sakura, Moore, and Blyseth, the blockers.
Yeah, and they're going to have a big day against this Orlando pass rush. Those 3 guys will be key.
D'Orazio, quick pass, partially deflected by McIntyre, and it falls incomplete.
It looks like Kenny's healthy. Didn't play last week because of an injured heel, but Kenny McIntyre, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year.
That one intended for Otto Molden. There's that Orlando defense. White and Taylor, outstanding pass rushers. Nagel, James, Carter, Shell, and McIntyre. Back, as Pat said, after missing the game at Dallas last week.
Yeah, and Lynn J. Shell, the other defensive specialist, had a big game last week against Dallas, didn't he, Tom?
And Charlie Davidson and Khalil Carter stepped up, too, in that defensive secondary. Molden catches, knocked out of bounds at the 10-yard line by Shell. It's short of the first down.
Well, here's a guy that Matt D'Orazio is happy to have back, Otto Molden, who has missed a lot of this season with injuries. A guy who's led their team in receptions in 2004, 2005. And said if you're going to win Arena Bowl 20, that guy's going to have to be a featured player. His team ranks, but really battled through a bunch of injuries this year.
The great addition to this team, though, that helped turn them around from that poor regular season, Bobby Scipio, the big and fast receiver. Third down screen pass to Scipio, using his blockers, fighting inside the 5 and down to the 2-yard line where Lynn J. Shell finally stops it.
Yeah, you're right about Bobby Scipio. You know what Mike Hohensee say to us yesterday? We would not be here playing in Arena Bowl 20 without that guy. They were 4-7 without him when he came to the team from Tampa. And you see what kind of a big bull that he is. You know, he's 6'3", 220 pounds. And made a big 9 games with Tampa, caught 55 and then 18 touchdowns. In the 8 games with Chicago, 24 touchdown catches, has caught 7 touchdowns in the playoffs.
McMillan tries to run it in, scrambling ahead, stopped at the 1-foot line. Bob McMillan, one of the AFL's 20 greatest of all time. Jerry and James had his hands full stopping the 260-pound McMillan.
80 career rushing touchdowns, the all-time leading rusher in AFL history with just over 1,400 yards. Well, I tell you, Frank Moore just got blown back by that defensive line up front. Charles Hill just ran right through Frank.
Second down and goal, ball inside the 1-yard line.
And D'Orazio, a good runner, too. Go!
He'll keep it and score.
Well, that's his 4th rushing touchdown in the playoffs to go along with those 15 touchdown passes, Tom.
He had 10 rushing touchdowns in the regular season. And
nice little wedge there right behind Frank Moore and DJ Blythes, John Sikora. Really, I think those three guys up front are the key to the ball game for the Chicago Rush.
And Dan Franz will now attempt the extra point. He's hit 18 of 23 in the playoffs. Been a little inconsistent on the extra points, but he's hit some long field goals. This extra point attempt is good. So Matt D'Orazio directs the touchdown drive and puts the clincher on himself as he sneaks it over on second down. Chicago takes the opening kick and a 7-0 lead. Arena Bowl 20, Las Vegas. Chicago takes the opening kick and marches down the field with their young quarterback Matt D'Orazio sneaking it across for the touchdown, and it looks like Chicago employing some quick passes and even a key screen to Scipio to negate that Orlando pass rush. France with a kickoff off the net, taken by DeAndre Rubin. Rubin surrounded but managed to escape down the sideline and finally stepped out of bounds short of the 15-yard line as Dan France, the kicker, was over there getting him out of bounds.
Joe Hamilton, who has had a pretty good playoff season himself and his best regular season in his career in the AFL. Had a real good season, throwing 64 touchdowns, 16 interceptions, and completing 67% of his passes. His best year.
Yeah, he also rushed for 8 touchdowns, and he's always a constant threat to run the football. Good in a scrambling situation as well. Short drop pass. Jimmy Frizzell wrestled down as he crosses midfield by Unerdl and Alfonso. So Joe Hamilton directing the offense, the former Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, the Heisman runner-up in his first Arena Bowl, as is his counterpart Matt D'Orazio. Excellent group of receivers. Frizzell, James back after a 1-game suspension, and Dudley, the rookie, Nagel, the fullback. And the blockers are Lee Cleveland and All-Arena Henry Taylor. 10-yard gain on that first down pass, the first of the game for Hamilton. 5-step drop that time, off target intended for James, and tried to get it right on the sideboard.
Off target because of the rush of John Moyer.
Well, here are the pass rushers for the Chicago defense. Moyer, Blyseth, and Kareem Smith, an all-rookie selection with 8 sacks in a regular season and 2 in the postseason. McMillan, Alfonso, amazing. He's played nearly every play of the playoffs. Robinson, Taylor, and Unerdl, who's been an addition that has been welcomed by the Chicago team as well.
I can't imagine a guy playing better in the playoffs than that guy, DeJuan Alfonso, playing linebacker right now. We play 3 or 4 different positions on defense.
Very valuable on both sides of the football. Hamilton under pressure, can't escape.
Well, McMillan will get credit for the sack, but really Curtis Eason was the guy who caused it, Tom. Curtis Eason, number 55, he came right up the middle and forced him into the arms of Bob McMillan.
And Justin Cleveland, trying to block him, was flat on his back, and Hamilton got tangled up with him.
Right up the middle, just kept scrambling, and that is the 6th playoff sack thus far for this Chicago team. We talk so much about Orlando, but you forget how good these guys have been. And Curtis Eason has had a big playoff.
Moyer with 3 sacks in the playoffs. We said Kareem Smith with 2. Hamilton wide open, but off target on his pass for James.
Flag down.
First penalty of the game coming up.
Jerry James missed last week's game because of the suspension.
Linebacker number 23 was outside the box. That's a 5-yard penalty with an automatic first down.
That is a key because it was 3rd and what, 17 or so?
Very key penalty, and that Jack linebacker must stay confined into a box. It's an illegal defense if he strays from it. And Steve Payman with a call. He's our referee for today's game.
We talked about Curtis Eason just a moment ago, the nose tackle to cause the tackle. There's a guy, he grew up in high school in Jacksonville, played football, soccer, wrestled, played basketball, track, and baseball. I'm not sure he went to class. I don't think he had time to go to class.
Jacksonville Rains High School, twice All-State there. You can hear the hit, the ball loose.
Dennison Robinson stripped him.
And Chicago recovers.
Dennison Robinson has had a big playoffs as well, Tom. Unsung player in this team.
And a couple punches thrown there. And a flag flies. You could see the punches being thrown after the play was concluded. And as usual, it'll be the second man that gets caught. Kareem Smith, I think, saw him throw a punch.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 58. That's a 10-yard penalty. It's still first down.
Yeah, Matt DeRazio's right in his face and say, hey, this is Arena Bowl. Settle down. But I was just going to talk about Denison Robinson, Tom. A guy, when we spoke with him yesterday, said, this is the biggest game in my life. Watch number 21 just strip the receiver of the ball. Strong right hand, knocks it out. And it's Bob McMillan who made the recovery. So McMillan gets a sack. McMillan gets a fumble recovery.
They just recovered a fumble, but Kareem Smith, involved in an altercation, drew a flag, and his coach and quarterback got on him.
He told me, hey, I can kick him out of the game, but I'm not. What? He said I can kick 50 out of the game, but I'm not. So keep him under control.
Yeah, he was saying you keep him under control. Because they're going to throw Kareem Smith out if he does it again.
Yep, so they're trying to get him settled down. That pass incomplete. It'll bring up a second down play for the Chicago Rush. Thinking about this Orlando start to the game with allowing a touchdown and then a turnover, kind of similar to their start against Dallas last week when it looked like the Desperados, who had the best record in the league in the regular season, were going to run them out of the arena.
Yeah, very good point, Tom. You're best of the playoffs, actually.
How many is that for me now?
That's three good points you've made all playoffs.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's one per game.
What?
Short pass complete for about 5 yards.
Remember how good Orlando was in that, second, third, and fourth quarter. I mean, they have just been phenomenal. They get that pass rush geared up, particularly Greg White, number 95, and Henry Taylor, 96. Those guys, that guy is just hard to block. And so is he. Made the All-Arena team. And the 12 wins, 35 points allowed, but those 6 losses, 65 points, allowed 87 in the first game against Dallas, but last week allowed Clint Dalzell only 1 touchdown pass.
So obviously defense is the winning formula for the Predators, and there's pressure on DeRazio, but he manages to complete it to Scipio. Shell wrestles him down, but a clutch completion by DeRazio and catch by Scipio for 16 yards.
Isn't it interesting what Michael Wincy said about Scipio as you're going to watch him catch this deep hook? He said to us yesterday, he wouldn't have been here without him. But the other thing was, offensive linemen try to block better because they give the quarterback some time. He's going to get open. The defense plays better because we get a stop. Scipio's going to get the ball in the end zone. So, and he said he's made a big difference in the confidence level of our team as well.
Former Hilltopper from Western Kentucky. And Matt DeRazio, strong hands, because Greg White made a swipe at that football and he managed to hold on to it. He stumbled going into his drop, manages to get it to Russell Shaw. Complete. Khalil Carter limits it to about an 8-yard gain.
Well, this is the way I think you need to play Orlando's defensive pass rush. You've seen a screen, we've seen the ball thrown to the tight end, we've seen a bunch of short passes. And this Orlando Predator defense in the playoffs, how about 38 quarterback hits? Tony Graziani's still in the hot tub, I think. Same with Clint Dalzell. And, stopping teams. If you get 2 or 3 stops in a game, you generally win. You've been stopping teams incredible in these playoff series. Unable
to get to DeRazio so far today, though. No hits on DeRazio. And there's a quick pass to the motion man, Alfonso.
Looked like a Dallas play, didn't it?
Lynn J. Shell upset him, yep.
How about all the things that DeJuan Alfonso does for this team? He's had an incredible playoff series on offense, defense, in the return game. In the playoffs, he's caught 5 touchdown passes. He's recovered 2 fumbles, returned a kick for a TD, and scored on a kickoff touchdown. Look at that.
Also holds on extra points and field goals.
Wow.
Let's go.
First and goal for Chicago. Matt DeRazio has hit his last 4 attempts. That'll be a false start on Kareem Smith.
False start, offense.
If you play this Orlando team, you're going to have to get some good blocking up front. And their first drive, they got some good protection up front. You see the screen here on the left side, John Sikora. Little screen pass. He gets out, clears the way for Scipio. Great block there. Hustling John Sikora. Go! And then just the next play later, you know, good push by Frank Moore up front that allowed Matt DeRosio to get in.
First down. Nice snag over on the sideline. Was that Russell Shaw? Yes, it was. Hit by Jerry and James to put him out of bounds, but advances the ball to the 5-yard line. It'll be 2nd and goal.
Yeah, and here's where it really gets tight. You know, Thomas, we've watched this league over the years, man, and you have to be able to run the ball pretty well down here, or you have to have a quarterback with a really strong arm, because really tight throws. Only an 8-yard end zone. With, you know, a bunch of bodies in there, real tight spots.
And an extra dimension, though, the running ability of DeRosio. He's going to throw for this one. Looking. Chased from the pocket. There's a flag down, and DeRosio takes a tough hit from James over on the sideline.
James on the tackle on the quarterback. Penalty flag in the backfield.
Probably be a holding call against Chicago, one would imagine.
You know, that's another thing that this pass rush does, causes holding penalties.
During the play, holding offense number 55. That's a 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. It remains 2nd down.
Curtis Eason flagged for the hold.
Curtis Eason right here in the left part of the screen. Oh yeah, he just kind of tackled Greg White.
Yep, that was a good one.
I think they could have thrown 2 flags on him, don't you think? But with that great coverage downfield, really kind of forced him to hold the ball a little bit longer than he wanted, and then the hold. So the coverage downfield caused really the hold on that play.
And James got the solid hit on the sideboards. Already 4 penalties against the rush. Stumble, DeRosio covered back the 20-yard line. Looked like one of his linemen might have stepped on his foot. Greg White finally made sure he was down, and in his haste with his drop because of that tough pass rush of Orlando, he might have...
what does haste make?
Waste.
Yeah, you're right. That was a wasted play, wasn't it?
And the line would have to be quick to get into their pass blocking stance because of the ferocious rush, and looked like they stepped on the foot of Matt DeRosio.
Well, you're right. You know, you're always backpedaling as a lineman. And I think he just got tripped up there on Frank Moore.
Right. So 3rd down play for Chicago. 3rd and goal from the 20. They've converted their 2 previous 3rd downs. Shaw goes one-on-one with McIntyre, gets free for the moment, but stepped out of bounds.
Boy, did Bobby Scipio, you know, gather a crowd. Double coverage on Scipio, and then they fell off in the coverage to get Russell Shaw.
So it's going to be 4th down, and the field goal unit comes out for Chicago. Dan Franz in the playoffs has hit 7 of 9 field goal attempts, including a 52-yarder and a 53-yarder. So Franz attempts the field goal, a 23-yard attempt. Alfonso holds. And Franz boots it dead center. So Chicago gets the turnover, but can only manage a field goal. However, they've extended their lead. Chicago 10, Orlando nothing. (10-0) Chicago leading Orlando, and a key play was when Matt DeRosio tripped in his drop.
Yeah, this is the play which he and Frank Moore kind of get tangled up, and they got to talk about it on the sideline just a moment ago.
I'm not, you know what? It's not going to happen again. I'm not even worried about it. Don't worry about it.
How about that hairdo of Frank Moore's, Tom?
There's Frank Moore. He said, if we make it to the Arena Bowl, I'll dye my hair. And, of course, his teammates took him up on that offer. They reminded him of it. He went a couple of days ago here in Las Vegas to a hair salon, and that cost him $85.
Yeah, bottom left, that's what he looked before yesterday, looked like before yesterday. It's a perfect look for Vegas, though.
It'd be a good look for you, Pat. Oh, no, I'm sorry, I mentioned hair.
Perfect look for Vegas.
Rubin upended as he returns the kick to the 12-yard line. by Nick Myers, just activated for this Arena Bowl game. Let's go down to Marty.
Hey, Tom, that's $85 plus tip, so that's $100 on a $15 tip. And you know what's funny? His wife said, I refuse to see you at home looking like this. So after this game, he will have to go completely bald. He's going to shave it all off.
Don't you think that'd be a good look for Pat?
It would be fantastic. It would be fantastic.
Absolutely. Well, I'm thinking about it.
I have something to work with first, though.
Yeah, I know. I need that. Hey, nice to be with you guys again.
Joe Hamilton, Frizzell on a first down reception, spun down by Dewan Alfonso at midfield after he picks up a first down.
Well, you know, when they talk about Joe Hamilton, they talk about his size. You know, Joe's only 5'10", but he has to find some ways to get the ball in there. That complete overhand release and right through the arms. Who was that? Charlie Cook?
Yeah, right.
The arms of Charlie Cook?
Right, like a bullseye through his.
But you'll see him throw it sidearm, you know, over the top. He'll scramble a lot, move around in the pocket just to find a passing lane.
Under pressure, he threw it into a crowd and deflected
by Alfonso.
Alfonso, and Robinson was defending the intended receiver as well. Good pass defense by Chicago.
Very active jack linebacker is Dewan Alfonso. You know, when I think of guys in this league who make hustle plays from that position, you think of Greg Hopkins, and I think of Dewan Alfonso. That is right hand on that one.
Of course, one of the class. There it is.
He could jump.
Yeah, Alfonso. He won the dunk contest as a high schooler in Indiana. Arsenal Tech High School, Indianapolis. Won the high school dunk contest. Hamilton's pass caught. Frizzell. Hamilton did a good job of finding him in that crowd. Marvin Taylor makes the tackle. A 13-yard gain that brings the first quarter to a close.
A good first quarter for the Chicago Rush. And that man, Dewan Alfonso.
Jimmy Frizzell making that catch, his third of the first quarter, but it's been all Chicago. They're up 10-0. Back with more of Arena Bowl 20 after these messages and a word from your local NBC station. Start the second quarter of Arena Bowl 20 with Chicago leading Orlando 10-0, but Joe Hamilton has the Predators on the move with a first down at the 12-yard line. Let's go down to Lewis Johnson.
Thank you, Tom. Hey, Jay, this is a similar start to the Dallas game 2 weeks ago where you were stopped twice. What's going on here early in this game?
Oh, we got stopped on the first one. Unfortunate deal. We had Jimmy open in the end zone. Joe chose not to throw it, and they made a good play rallying to the ball. But we just got to relax. We got 3 quarters left, and we'll be fine.
Their pass rush giving you a bad time?
A little bit, but I think, you know, we just missed a couple throws there. But Joe's going to settle down and have a great game.
All right, Jay. Thanks. Tom?
All right, Lewis. It is indeed similar to their Desperados game a week ago.
A slow starting team is this Orlando, but boy, they finished strongly.
This is right where they wanted.
Yeah, got it right where they wanted. Right, perfect.
Hamilton on first down sends Frizzell in motion. And gets it to Dudley at the 5-yard line. Surrounded, thrown down by Robinson and Unertle. So one of the things we love about the Arena Football League is that Pat can eavesdrop on the play call. Now,
you don't love it at all.
Understanding it after he hears it is a different story.
No, let me listen to Joe Hamilton. I'm listening right now.
We call this huddle up.
Yeah, he calls it 32 zing, Z looky. His Z receiver is number 10, here in the slot. So that's the first receiver. Otherwise, he dumps it off to Frizzell. There's the looky. Got him.
Touchdown, Dudley.
The Z looky. And a very, very happy Joe Hamilton. You know, Jay Gruden was saying just got to settle him down.
Right.
That's the kind of throw that settles you down.
Well, Joe's an emotional player anyway, isn't he?
Yeah, and you know, it's a big game. You know, he had a great career in the ACC with Georgia Tech, but this is his biggest professional game, right? Arena Bowl championship. And that's a nice play call by Jay Gruden, and a good execution that time by Joe Hamilton.
Jay Taylor attempts the point after. And it slips in just past the right upright. The rookie Dudley from Fordham with a 4-yard touchdown reception to put the Predators on the board. There's the catch by Dudley for the score. Hamilton throws the touchdown pass, and Orlando narrows the count to a field goal. With action perfect for Vegas, the Arena Bowl 20. Chicago leading Orlando 10-7. And here's Taylor's kick. Russell Shaw takes it out of the slack net. Runs into his own man, lost the football. Scramble for it. And Orlando thinks they have it. And they do. Orlando recovers.
And Tom, it was Kevin Nagel, number 4, who came down and just ran right smack into the ball carrier. The ball pops out. I didn't see who recovered it, but it was Kevin Nagel is the guy that caused the fumble.
Well, we still don't know who recovered it because they're still.
There it is.
There we go. It was recovered by DeAndrew Rubin.
Yeah, right, that big game last week. Watch number 4 Nagel come in. And then we talked to him yesterday. Almost gave up the game of football. He said he appreciates this game more than just about anybody, but just kind of stoned the ball carrier. The ball comes out, and his teammate recovers.
Kevin Nagel, a workout fanatic from East Stroudsburg, the Pocono Mountains of Pennsylvania. Handoff to him.
That's what happens when you cause a fumble.
Yeah, he may wish they hadn't have because his counterpart, Bob McMillan, hit him hard.
Well, you know, he had a big hit on Tony Graziani a couple weeks ago, too, Tom. He plays that MAC linebacker on defense. So we saw special teams play today, a couple weeks ago against Philadelphia on defense. And we just saw him run the ball on offense.
He was, there's Graziani in the damage. Nagel was a middle linebacker in his college days, had to learn fullback, play both ways here in the AFL. Screen pass, Frizzell bouncing off Chicago defenders. Dennison Robinson hitting first and then finished off by Unertle and McMillan.
I remember what Nagel was saying to us yesterday, boy, I have great appreciation for being here. I played 4 years of Division II football, 3 years in AF2, was substitute teaching, about to give the game up. Les Moss, who was his coach in AF2, convinced him to play 1 more year, had a nice year, then ended up with the Predators, and has had a very big season for the Orlando Predators this year.
Hamilton's pass, caught by Dudley for the touchdown.
They force turnovers and then they convert turnovers. It's that Z looky, it looked like again too. Dudley plays their Z receiver. Anytime the quarterback backs straight up, he's going to throw it to his left. Got it out just out of the Unertle's reach for another touchdown to Javaris Dudley, who's had a brilliant rookie year, the rookie from Fordham, Tom.
3 catches in this game, 19 yards, and 3 catches, 2 touchdowns.
It's a very good percentage.
What is it?
66.
Thank you. Jay Taylor, extra point on the mark. Well, Chicago got a turnover earlier, could only get a field goal out of it. Orlando gets the turnover and the second touchdown pass from Hamilton to Dudley. Joe Hamilton celebrates as the Preds take the lead. Arena Bowl 20. Let's go down to Lewis for a Bud Light sneak peek.
All right, Tom, Arena Bowl sneak peek, Arena Bowl 20 championship. Hey, Joe, you've got 2 touchdowns to Dudley. Let's look at both of those and tell me why you've gone back to him 2 times in a row.
Yeah, we really saw right now that they're trying to mess around a little bit with the motion. Dudley's in the slot right there, so we just said, hey, come back, let him get a move and hit it on the outside. And the key to that is a little bit of timing. Now we came back and we ran to the left side. Same type play. We got Jimmy in motion, and Dudley's out there on the slot. The same thing we did. Jimmy in motion. He comes, push him up, and I got to throw it a little early. You know, almost made a play, and that's the type of throws going to have to fit in this type of Arena Bowl. Big plays got to be tight. Trying to make big plays, man. And man, keep it having fun. This place is rocking, buddy.
All right, Joe. You know, I'm not so sure if he's calm or not yet, Tom.
Wow. Tell him to breathe.
The irrepressible Joe Hamilton is at 7 of 9.
Love to see guys excited. Remember his coach, Jay Gruden, got pretty excited when he played, didn't he?
Oh, the thing I'll always remember about Jay Gruden is the smile on his face. Playing, coaching, knocked him down. He still had a smile.
He said, I was kind of crazy. I like to get hit.
Shaw's got a lane. And James and DeRubin save the touchdown. DeAndre Rubin and Jarian James on the tackle of special teams for Orlando.
I'll tell you this, this is an offensive scoring opportunity in this league. And I think one of the things that really distinguishes it from the outdoor game, every play in this league is an absolutely scoring opportunity. Speaking of scoring opportunities, that was the guy right there, Mike Hohensee, who threw the very first pass in this league for a touchdown. Was a starting quarterback in Arena Bowl 1.
And it's been now Arena Bowl 20 since he has returned. Been very emotional all week long. DeRazio off the back foot for the touchdown to Bowles.
Great throw by Matt DeRazio. Matt DeRazio, who was supposed to be in a wedding this weekend, instead here at Arena Bowl 20 making throws like this. Good double move by Atu Molden and over the top of Lin-J Shell. He had to throw it over the top of the defender, and the only guy who was going to catch this one was Atu Molden off the back foot. Well, Matt DeRazio didn't get to use the tucks this weekend, but boy, got to use his shoulder pads.
His best friend, Brady Mangini, and Mandy married today in Columbus, Ohio, but happy that he won't be there because he's playing in Arena Bowl 20, and he just made a great throw as Molden makes the catch.
Yeah, well, watch how strong he is off his back foot with, you know, strength and touch and accuracy, and a delighted Matt DeRazio.
24-yard touchdown pass puts Chicago back on top. Matt DeRazio has thrown his first touchdown pass of Arena Bowl 20. Also ran for a touchdown earlier. And Chicago leads by 3 here in the second quarter.
It was 9 of 11 and a touchdown.
And a string of 7 in a row. Dan Franz kicking off to Rubin. Tough hop, but he got it. And I guess it'll be ruled a touchback.
Ladies and gentlemen, the officials have ruled.
Yeah, let's take a look and a listen to that last touchdown, Tom.
Left HO, 30 stop on 2.
Now, he called 30 stop. Everybody's supposed to run short patterns, but you see the man in motion who's going to actually convert because of the press coverage. Atu Molden, rather than running a stop, he runs right by the defender. So press coverage, they convert the route. Should have been a 5-yard gain instead of a touchdown.
DeRazio and Molden both reading the same thing and connecting on the touchdown pass.
Yeah, that's so key when you convert, Tom. You both have to see the exact same thing.
Hamilton scrambles from the pocket, finds an open receiver. It's Khalil Carter, who is tackled by Marvin Taylor.
In this league, you have to find different ways to get the ball to the receivers. And when you're Joe Hamilton, you're 5'10", a little diminutive, over the top, up to Juan Alfonso, the high jumper. Then sometimes you get off, right over the top, you get on your tippy toes. You jump a little bit, right? You got to do that occasionally. You got to at least 5'11" on that one. And this one right over the onrushing defensive lineman. So working his way through and around and over defensive players.
Second down and 1. They're going to run the football with Carter. And Carter off to the races. One man to beat. Touchdown.
Second game in a row. Khalil Carter's had a touchdown. Interception last week for a touchdown. This week on a pitch. And you see some strength and some speed and some more strength at the end, so Khalil Carter gets in the end zone.
Ran through the tackle of Marvin Taylor for the score. 36 yards by Khalil Carter, who used to serve President Bill Clinton coffee and toast at a McDonald's in Little Rock, Arkansas.
Yeah, he's got the name of one president and served Bill Clinton, another president, coffee.
Extra point, good. Well, a couple of quick strikes, one by Chicago on the touchdown catch by Molden, and now Carter on the 36-yard scamper to put Orlando back on top.
Yeah, boy, this is good. See that little seam increase? You don't see that much in this league, do you, Tom? Kind of a running seam, which Khalil Carter just gathered and ran right through and into the end zone.
We're back at Arena Bowl 20, and in the crowd today, Hunky Cooper, the longtime Arizona Rattler player, one of the top 20 players all time in the AFL, and as we can attest, maybe the most inspirational.
Yeah, you know, Tom, I think of 40 years I've been around football players. I've never met a guy that football's meant more to than it does to Hunky Cooper. Just incredible.
That hit the overhanging scoreboard.
Ball clipped the scoreboard.
Let's go to Marty.
Walking with Coach Mike Owens, he's going to come out here and call the offense. Coach, this seems to be a back-and-forth momentum game. How do you try and keep the momentum here?
Score.
Obviously, the offense working well, though, and some quick scores for you.
I can't hear you, partner.
Said obviously the offense is working well, though.
The clock's running.
All right, Coach Owens, he's going to make a call here as he calls the offense. He told me earlier the offense is going smoothly, but he would like to work in some quicker plays, maybe three-step drops, and get some screens going here.
All right, Marty. He had it reduced to the essentials, didn't he?
Yeah,
Score.
Absolutely. Score and stop him when they're on defense. Go! Newt Rockne.
That's twice you've got Newt Rockne in today. DeRazio hustled and again finds a man.
How strong Matt DeRazio is.
Dennison Robinson latches onto it. Somehow, a 16-yard gain. DeRazio got it off.
And an injured rush player down here in the 15.
The ball being spotted.
Curtis Eason? Curtis Eason it is, number 55. Big Reggie Lee making sure he's okay.
Curtis Eason was the guy that came from Columbus to Chicago. Mike Owens told us early in the year we just didn't realize how good he was. And he has had a big impact. One of the big reasons, number 55 right here.
Oh, yeah.
Just gets squished. Good big reasons they're here.
Greg White tangled up with him as he was rushing the passer, and the blocker knocked him into him. Somehow DeRazio found a man. Take a break while they tend to Eason.
And just a moment ago, Matt DeRazio, talking about calling how he's using a timeout.
Hey, we're calling timeout. We're calling timeout to get Eason back in.
Hey,
let's score here, boy.
And he is back in. One of the reasons that they didn't want John Boyer, who ordinarily is a very good pass protector, back in, because John Boyer is not quite 100%, and you want to be 100% against this Orlando Predator front three.
So they spent their first timeout in order to get Eason into the game. Wouldn't have been charged with a timeout had he left. Stumbling again, DeRazio still manages to keep his balance and complete the pass. He's made some circus throws today. Dennison Robinson caught that one. Lynn J. Shell tackled him. And on Curtis Eason's injury, for an update, let's go down to Marty.
Officially, it is a left MCL sprain, and he said he was kind of scared on the field because he heard a pop, and he thought it might have been a tear, an ACL tear, but it's just a sprained MCL on the left knee.
I never call those things just, you know.
Meanwhile, Matt DeRazio has hit 9 passes in a row. Here comes number 10.
Yeah, most of them off balance.
It is 10 in a row indeed, and that time it's Scipio that makes the catch and holds on with the hit from Carter.
You know, nearly a third of his catches, Scipio's in the playoffs, have gone for touchdowns. But watch how Matt DeRazio handles the pressure, kind of just hanging in there. Well, just took an absolute shot from Greg White, but just keep bouncing right back up. You know, completes 69% of his passes with pressure like that. To me, it's been staggering, the kind of accuracy under those kind of demands that Matt DeRazio's been able to do.
And 10 straight here. What percentage is that?
That's very good.
Molden wrestled down on the run by White, Greg White.
Well, not too Molden's at his best, though. I mean, he's a receiver, he is a runner, he plays good jack linebacker. Again, they haven't, you know, the city of Chicago and AFL fans really haven't seen Atu Molden healthy most of this year, but when he is, he's one of the premier players.
Here are the injuries that he has had to withstand, and it's been rib injuries lately. D'Orazio rolls, delivers, and it is intercepted.
Khalil Carter got his hand on it. He knocked it down.
Did he knock it down? Yeah. Incomplete. Right in the corner of the end zone. I couldn't quite see.
Well, would have been a good guess because he's had 2 interceptions already in the playoffs. One for a touchdown we saw last week, but Khalil Carter comes up big again.
This will be a good look at it.
Yeah,
yep. Almost, but
how about Khalil Carter? We talked to him yesterday, and the guy that's played, what, 16 games this year, take a break, XL, and on Tuesday he goes to Toronto.
And probably won't play in their first game on Saturday, but will the next.
In the Canadian League.
Third down pass, D'Orazio caught for the touchdown by Scipio. Scipio gives him that good big target in the red zone. And D'Orazio, who had his string of 10 straight broken on the good play by Carter,
starts a new one. Yeah, Matt D'Orazio is on fire, as he has been throughout this entire playoffs. Another one off the back foot. Good adjustment that time by Bobby Scipio. The big target inside that red zone. You know, the real premier teams have strong quarterback play and great offensive specialists. And right now, that's what looks like Chicago has.
Extra point, Franz is good. Well, Matt D'Orazio made some key throws from lots of different angles that time. The touchdown was to Scipio.
13 of 16, 2 touchdowns, another one off the back foot. The strong hands of Bobby Scipio puts the Rush up by 3.
Mike Hohensee in the Rush, 24-21 over Orlando after that last touchdown pass by Matt D'Orazio. He's with Marty for a sneak peek.
And as you guys say, he has been hot. 11 of his last 12 passes. And on the touchdown pass, I just heard you tell Bobby Scipio, sorry about that touchdown pass. Why are you apologizing for a touchdown pass?
We had a crossing routes, 2 guys going one way, Scipio coming the other side, and he was wide open, and it was one of those I didn't want to miss. And little behind him. You know, I tried for perfection, but, you know, with a guy like Bobby Scipio, there's a big margin for error because he's such a great receiver.
We had talked early on off camera about trying to establish a rhythm. Clearly you have that now. How much does having your rhythm help you?
Oh, it means a lot, but, you know, there's a lot of game left, and we got a lot of respect for Orlando. We're not going to give up. We know they're not.
As you guys said, 13 of 16, 2 touchdowns. An impressive day for Matt D'Orazio so far.
And he ran for a touchdown as well.
You know, Mike Hohensee was saying he's never had a quarterback work harder than Matt D'Orazio.
And he said he's one of the finest human beings he's ever met. He said he's coached him up a storm, and Matt said, well, Coach was hollering at me this week as usual, but he really wanted to win this game for his coach. He said he's never wanted to win a game for a coach more than this for Coach Hohensee.
Well, think about Mike Hohensee. You know, it's been 20 long years, right? He said to us this week, I've been dreaming about bringing a team to Arena Bowl championship game. He said, I never really could see the faces in my dreams until last week.
And he said, this is the team. Now he can see the faces, and this is the team.
You know, really, he's done a great job. I think he and his staff reconfiguring this team. About mid-season, they brought in Bobby Scipio, and Jeremy Unertl, a defensive specialist, has brought him in. He's played real well.
Flag down as Dudley catches the Hamilton pass. Tackled by Robinson. There's the marker on the play.
Yeah, Mike Hohensee can give you that placid look, but he can get pretty excited as well.
You got to go out there and prove it to everybody who wants to believe that it's true. Let's do this together.
Matt! Matt! Get over here! Get the first! Get the first! Get the first! First down, baby! First down! Woo! That away, baby! That away!
You heard him coaching Matt pretty hard again.
Guiding his team through the playoffs, and he used the example of the Pittsburgh Steelers who went on the road to win the Super Bowl. As Chicago's had to go on the road and have 3 straight wins to get them here to the championship game. Let's go to Marty.
Well, as you guys had mentioned, he had led Pittsburgh to the very first Arena Bowl and threw the first touchdown, and he's refused to come to Arena Bowl games since then until today. He said, I'll pay the fine, whatever. It was just too hurtful for him to actually be at the game, so he and his wife would come to the early week festivities and then leave and go home. He's never been to an Arena Bowl since Arena Bowl 1.
And here in Arena Bowl 20, he has a 3-point lead. 5-yard penalty against Orlando, puts the ball back to the 20-yard line. First down play. Off target, Hamilton trying to catch Rubin.
You know, Tom, Mike Hohensee can really relate to these guys in this league. We went to junior college in Southern California, then on to Minnesota, and then was actually working for Coca-Cola, really kind of loading Coca-Cola, deals into these hotels and such, and got a call, learned about the AFL, and had a nice career there, and been a really well thought of coach for years and years, but never got his team to the championship game.
And when they won the American Conference, they didn't touch the trophy. Here's wide open, the pass caught. Rubin outraced the football to catch it for the touchdown. Hamilton hung it up there, looked like it might be long, but Rubin turned on the afterburners and caught it for a 30-yard score.
I don't know if you remember, Tom, but Joe Hamilton said to us a few weeks ago about DeAndre Rubin, he's blazing fast. Not just fast, but blazing fast. And it looked like one going to be overthrown. So he'd step up in the pocket. Joe Hamilton, the good quarterbacks kind of feel and sense the rush. Stepped up in the pocket, looked like he had outthrown Rubin, who just turns on the jets to get there.
And caught it with one step to spare before he collided with the boards. Taylor the extra point.
Blazing fast. I like that.
Blazing. Extra point good by Jay Taylor. So Orlando loses the ball on their first possession, and since then 4 straight touchdowns.
Well, DeAndre Rubin was wide open on this one. He's up here at the top. And you see the man in motion kind of attracting 2 defenders. And it's a little stop and go. That's what happened. Yeah, DeAndre Rubin ran a little stop and go. The Dennison Robinson jumped on the stop and go, or the stop part of it, and he kept going.
Yeah, he stopped and DeAndre went.
That's how he got so open. It was funny. Jay Gruden said, I never thought DeAndre Rubin would get Iron Man of the game, which he got last week, because he's got a diminutive 5'11", 175 pounds, but, returned a kickoff for a touchdown last week, had an interception. And Jay was saying to us, I really should use him more as a receiver. We got, I got Jerry and James, I got Frizzell and Dudley. I don't find enough opportunities to throw him the ball.
And he said tomorrow, speaking to us yesterday, he said, I'm going to try to use him more.
Well, here he is in the playoffs. The touchdown return on the kickoff against Dallas just a week ago. One of 2 return touchdowns. Then the interception in the end zone, which helped preserve that victory and send them to Arena Bowl 20.
Was a wide receiver at South Florida. Taylor's kick, fielded by Shaw from the slack net. Russell Shaw trips, covered by Price.
Guess who tackled him?
And Rubin.
Yeah, DeAndre Rubin tackled him. Maybe we'll get Iron Man again.
Well, this has turned into a good battle here, Pat. 5 lead changes. Back and forth we go.
The typical AFL game.
Coming down to the 1-minute warning. And the clock will reach 1 minute and will stop. 1-minute warning, 1 minute left in the first half. DeAndre Rubin made a sparkling catch for a touchdown, and then right back out for special teams coverage and makes the play on Russell Shaw on the kickoff return. Okay, Al, and we will look forward to that at halftime. Arena Bowl 20, let's go down to Lewis.
All right, Jay, let's talk about the 1-minute strategy. What do you want to do here?
Well, we just want to make tackles and hold them to 3 points here, and I'll use my timeouts if I have to so I can get the ball last.
And we'll get out of the way so we're not in the play. Tom?
He's got 3 timeouts, Tom. They get possession to open the second half. This is the most interesting part of the game for me. The end of these halves, because generally these are close games. There's so much strategy. You sometimes
defense number 96 unevaded to the quarterback. 5-yard penalty remains, first down.
Henry Taylor offside.
Some of the strategy kind of counterintuitive. We've seen teams kind of play what they call give up defense, allows scores to get the ball back, gain possession. But Orlando's going to open the second half with possession, so they're either going to try to play great defense or preserve enough time to get themselves in the end zone before halftime.
5-yard step off makes it 1st and 5, Chicago. DeRazio looking 3 different ways and finally throws it into the stands. The young quarterback made a good decision, and the fan made a good catch in traffic.
How about that?
So it'll be 2nd down and 5 for the Chicago Rush. Clock stops on incomplete passes only in the final minute of the half and the game. It stopped there with 55 seconds.
You know, just kind of listen to the play call there. He's got a double slant here to these two guys, and then a route on the backside. Looking front side first. There it is.
Alfonso to the 20-yard line. 1st down, Chicago. Tackle by Shell and James.
And Matt DeRazio saying, hey, just let the clock run as much as we can. Left 30 stop on the first down. So everybody's going to run just quick routes, just quick little hook routes.
You saw Jay Gruden, who saw the formation and signals into his defense. They didn't have anybody there to cover Alfonso. Wrestled down by McIntyre and Rubin.
And Matt DeRazio will use one of his 2 remaining timeouts.
Remember, they spent a timeout earlier so they could keep Curtis Eason in the game after he'd been injured. Well, Stanley Cup Final continues tomorrow night on NBC. After Edmonton's last-minute heroics in Game 3, they'll look to tie things up, playing at home. That's the Stanley Cup Final presented by Sprint tomorrow night at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, here on NBC. Carolina with that 2-1 lead after winning their 2 games at home and going to Edmonton, and the Oilers pulling it out.
So stick around, stay in your seats. It's coming at you shortly.
2nd down play upcoming for Hohensee and the Rush, who trail by 4.
And I just heard the play call called wing post. That's the Scipio up top. So he said to him, you've got to win your route.
DeRazio double clutches, finds Alfonso as safety valve. It'll be enough for a 1st down just short of the 15-yard line. Shell with another tackle stops the clock as he goes out of bounds with 15 seconds.
You know, the more you watch this Orlando Rush, it's hard to throw wing post because you don't have enough time to get the ball downfield. Again, Price right up the middle. So the 3 down linemen and the middle linebackers all putting good pressure on the quarterback. Pressure on both quarterbacks. A couple of sacks. DeRazio getting hit 7 times. So Orlando's really putting pressure on the quarterback a 3rd week in a row.
Sidearm toss. Alfonso has been his favorite target on this drive, just short of the 1st down. Run out of bounds by McIntyre. Stops the clock with 10 seconds.
Now, what would you do with Bobby Scipio here?
Same thing he did last time. Do a little crossing route, get him into the end zone, use that big target, that big frame.
Talk about Joe Hamilton's delivery, how he gets it around. Watch this from DeRazio. Kind of a little sidearm. That could have been a late hit. Tried to back off. Sidearm throw, nice catch by DeJuan Alfonso. It's been nothing but short of sensational, really, in these playoffs.
DeRazio has hit his last 4 passes, all of them to DeJuan Alfonso.
Well, the man in motion is Bobby Scipio. We'll see how Orlando's going to try to cover him.
DeRazio for Scipio. Touchdown. How do you hold on? Davidson and Shell sandwiched him, and somehow he held on to the football for the score.
He was the ham in the middle of the sandwich, Tom, and he managed to secure the ball. Same kind of route he scored earlier when he was open, and then boom. The strong hands of Bobby Scipio, and watch Matt just right over the top, off the back foot again, just kind of lob it in there in the end zone. I saw him practicing that exact throw before the game.
Ham or spam?
That's the rack of spam you had last night.
Extra point attempts. Dan Franz knocks it through. The kickers have been good today. And Scipio as well with his 5th catch and 2nd touchdown.
Yeah, that's 9 touchdown receptions in the playoffs. Damian Harrell is so hard to cover. Bobby Scipio, the same kind of player inside this red zone. Just big, athletic guys. You throw it high, and you let them go get it.
Well, Scipio had a bit of a reputation when they brought him into Chicago. But all his teammates and his coaches say he has been the perfect teammate since arriving here in Chicago, and that he has been one of the major reasons why they are playing for the championship.
Remember, not only did he catch all these touchdown passes, last week there were, 4 pass interference penalties called against him because they were trying to defend him.
Let's go down to Marty.
Let's check in with Matt D'Orazio about that impressive final drive. How critical was it to eat up all those seconds and only leave them 6 seconds left?
Well, like you say, arena football, I don't want to be negative, but 6 seconds left. We got played all the way up to the end of the half, but we did about everything we wanted to do. We wasted the clock, and we scored right at the end of the half.
This game is awfully fast-paced. Is that what you guys want?
You know what? We just want to compete for 4 quarters, and that's what we're going to do. We're give our best effort 4 quarters, and then that'll be enough.
Tom?
All right, Marty. Like Coach Hohensee said a while ago, score, stop.
How about the last 6 games for D'Orazio? Thrown 31 touchdown passes.
How about an onside kick?
Okay.
Brazil takes it on the hop. Crosses midfield, tackled there, and the clock shows 3 seconds.
Really kind of a funny onside kick, right? Because now it gives, they're certainly in field goal range. A surprising decision to me to give them a chance to put 3 on the board. Remember, they get the second half possession.
So they will send Taylor out to try the field goal, and the team leading at halftime has won, amazingly, 18 of the previous 19. This is a 39-yard attempt to tie it.
What happens then?
Taylor. It's academic. That's a live football. There's a flag down. So a missed field goal attempt on the last play of the second half.
Yeah.
Barring
not so fast, my friend.
Barring a redo on the penalty.
Kick catch interference, violation of the 5-yard line rule. 5 yards from the end of the run, and we'll extend the period for 1 untimed down.
So one final play.
So here comes Dan Franz. You mentioned he kicked those 50-yard field goals. I think he set an AFL record, right? 3 over 50 in the playoffs.
Yep. As long as 53. So Franz, this is a pretty dramatic turnaround when Orlando was kicking to try to tie it by halftime. This will be Franz from 51 yards. And this one is good. It caromed off the upright and through.
That has got to be deflating to Jay Gruden and the Orlando Predators, doesn't it?
Had a chance to tie it on their field goal attempt. The penalty gives Franz a chance, and Franz is able to boot it through from 51 yards. 34-28. When we come back, a live performance from Third Eye Blind. All right, Al and Glenn, we are back in Vegas. Arena Bowl 20, Las Vegas, with Chicago leading Orlando 34-28 after that field goal, the 51-yard field goal by Franz, who has hit a field goal now on the last play of the half in 4 consecutive games, and the 51-yarder, the second longest in Arena Bowl history.
Yeah, he's incredible at the end of the first half. I think it was a real emotional lift for Chicago, too, and kind of a letdown for Orlando.
Well, we've seen some pretty good quarterback play, I would say, on both sides here in the first half.
Yeah, I think both quarterbacks have thrown 3 touchdown passes. Let's take a look at some of the things that Matt D'Orazio has done, and he's done some pretty good things. We're talking about what a good runner is. Big, strong, physical guy. Yeah, that was their first touchdown. Over the top. you know, throwing the off balance, played on to Molden, and then right here to Bobby Scipio right in the end zone, in the red zone. And Joe Hamilton, you know, 10 of 13. He also was throwing 2 touchdowns, 2 of them on that Z lookie to Dudley, they call that. And then the deep one to Ruben, way over the top, but it looked like he was going to overthrow him, and then Ruben put it on the burners and caught it for a touchdown. So both quarterbacks have managed the game pretty well.
And there are the numbers for the first half, and they are good numbers, as you indicated, on both sides of the football, D'Orazio and Hamilton. And conflicting trends here, Pat. We saw before we went to halftime the fact that the winner of 18 Arena Bowls has been leading at halftime, yet the second half, this playoff season has belonged to Orlando.
Well, they've only given up 10 points in their 2 previous playoff games total in the second half. Their defense is going to have to mount that kind of effort again.
So 2 conflicting trends, and I think that indicates that this game's still up for grabs, and Orlando, as the guys in the studio said, will get the ball to start the third quarter. Let's check in with Marty.
With Coach Mike Hohensee, and boy, what a change there at the end of the half. What did you tell the guys at halftime?
We just got to make sure we protect the football, keep bringing it up front. I think we're getting decent pressure, and I think we're doing a decent job protecting Matt. We got to continue to do that.
We talked about the pace of this game. Do you want to slow it down a little bit?
I just want to win.
All right, Coach said he was very happy with the guys, very impressed. He specifically pointed out Matt D'Orazio in the locker room said he is playing a career game.
Really a career playoff for Matt D'Orazio.
Yep, it has been indeed.
It really has been.
And last season, at the end of the season, Mike Hohensee went shopping for a quarterback, and Mark Grebe brought him into their neighborhood, had all the neighbors dressing up with Grebe jerseys on in his Chicago colors. Grebe decided not to come, to stay in San Jose, and D'Orazio.
Look at this. Oh. Right through the hands of DeJuan Alfonso, but Chicago recovers off the net.
And took a crazy bounce off the net, and Russell Shaw comes up with it for Chicago.
So Dan France, who ends the first half with a 51-yard field goal for the 4th straight game, it gets the bounce off the net. Remember at the very beginning of this broadcast, we said the balance that the Chicago team has played perfect off the iron, wasn't even off the net. And actually, these kickers are so good, they try to hit it off the iron every time.
And that time, Franz was able to hit the iron, scrambled for it. Alfonso had a shot at it, couldn't come up with it, but Russell Shaw did. And the third quarter opens in disastrous fashion for Orlando. Chicago with a chance to get some separation here.
Go. Set.
Scipio in motion, D'Orazio, quarterback draw, touchdown.
Oh, and a good block by John Moyer, too. John Moyer, one of the premier two-way players in the league, really cleared the way for Matt D'Orazio to score on that quarterback draw. Second scoring run for Matt D'Orazio to go along with his 3 touchdown passes. Watch the block here. And he cuts right behind it to get into the end zone very, very cleanly. Nice call, well designed.
So Franz, the hero of the moment for the rush, with a conversion. And it is barely good. D'Orazio has scored 2 on the ground. And Chicago takes the second half kickoff and the lead. Pat Hayden, Lewis Johnson, and Marty Snyder. Our producer David Gibson, director John Gonzalez on hand for the championship game of the Arena Football League. Dan France. A squib kick. Caught on the fly by Ruben. And Ruben upended as he crosses the 15-yard line by Russell Shaw. Well, kickers play an important role in this Arena Football League. Not always the same role as they perform outdoors. Lots of different ways they can be effective. Here's a 51-yard field goal attempt. An untimed last play of the half to up the Chicago lead.
There's one happy kicker.
And then off the iron on the kickoff to start the third quarter. Recovered by Chicago. They turn it into a touchdown. Hamilton, there's a flag down as he hits Jimmy Frizzell with a nice move. Frizzell inside the 15-yard line, tracked down there by Unertl. Gain of 20 yards if it stands.
During the play, holding, offense number 4, That's a 10-yard penalty. It remains first down.
Hold by Kevin Nagel negates the 20-yard gain. Let's go to Marty.
Well, 4 straight weeks, Dan France kicked a field goal at the end of the first half, a 51-yarder today. Now, first of all, walk me through that, but what's your deal with the end of the first half prowessness lately?
Trying to get points. In a game like this, you got to take advantage of every possession you get, and that, I'm just trying to help the team any way I can.
On the kickoff, were you going for the iron?
Every kickoff, I try to start at the right iron, just whether it ends up there, and that one was fortunate enough to.
I think it's his magic shoe, guys. You'll notice next time he goes out, the shoe is blue, greenish, sort of, but very different from the left shoe also. So a nice shoe, and that's what has been the difference for this young man.
Well, you love a kicker with a green shoe, don't you?
It's Vegas, baby.
Yeah, absolutely. And you think about it. When the start of the Chicago season, remember, Tom, we were up in Colorado with Chicago in the opening game.
Prior to the snap, encroachment, defense number 55. That's a 5-yard penalty. It remains first down.
Curtis Eason.
And Keith Gispert was the Chicago kicker, got hurt in pregame warmups and couldn't kick. And then on comes Dan France, and has had a very, very strong year. The Chicago Rush. 9 of 15 field goals in the regular season, 51 of 54 regular season extra points. And but has really distinguished himself in these 4 playoff games in which he's played.
In his 3rd season from Portland State. First down for Orlando after the penalty. James knocked down as he crosses the 20-yard line by Dennison Robinson and Dewan Alfonso.
Well, Joey Hamilton's got to get his team going, but I think even more importantly, they've got to find a way to get a defensive stop. I mean, they're going to, move down the field. They'll get their touchdowns, but if they're going to win it, it's going to have to be on defense like they have the last 2 weeks.
Well, as he said, only allowing 10 points in the second halves of their 2 playoff games.
Just gave
and
up
we'll get 7 already. Not sure why we've stopped play here.
The clock will stop for an apparent injury. The player either has to leave the game or they can buy him back in with the timeout.
Remember, they did buy it back in. Curtis Eason with a timeout in the first half. It's Alfonso this time that's injured. And rather than spend a timeout, they'll take him out of the game. And that's a rare sight to see Alfonso leaving the field.
Yeah, remember the first playoff game, I think he played 91 of 92 plays.
Hamilton on target to Dudley.
What a nice rookie year Javaris Dudley has had, the rookie from Fordham, and had over 1,000 yards of receptions, 14 touchdown catches, then ran for 3 touchdowns, 27 tackles on defense, and it's really kind of kept him going in the playoffs. 2 touchdown catches today. That's 5 in the playoffs in total for Dudley.
Went from a tryout to making the team and then selected all rookie. Was a wide receiver at Fordham and set 12 records for the Rams. Frizzell driven out of bounds by Atu Molden.
Jimmy Frizzell and Joe Hamilton have a really kind of special relationship. I remember talking to Joe Hamilton a couple weeks ago about the route running of Jimmy Frizzell, and said, boy, I know exactly where he's going to be. And so I can anticipate, I can throw the ball early when I'm throwing it to my offensive specialist, Jimmy Frizzell.
Frizzell, who has type 1 diabetes, takes 4 to 5 insulin shots every day. His dad and his brother had diabetes as well. Hamilton for the end zone, overshoots James. Dennison Robinson defending James. Pass incomplete.
I was just watching Kevin Nagel is playing fullback, block Charlie Cook coming up the middle, right there on the right of your screen. I think that is, you want a position that you have a lot of collisions, or if you want to avoid it, Tom. Tom, you would never be a middle linebacker, fullback type, because you have to be physical and you have to be tough. Watch number 4 in the middle of the screen. Just take on Charlie Cook, all 290 pounds of Charlie Cook.
What would I more likely be?
Now, you'd be an offensive specialist, but rarely play.
Hamilton's pass dropped by Dudley. So this is the key for the game here for Orlando. After surrendering on the kickoff to start the 3rd quarter, the touchdown on the botched kickoff reception. It's 4th down, and they're going to go for it. No field goal attempt.
Yeah, and I heard the play call. He has what's called a Y read. His Y is Jimmy Frizzell, so he can go any way he wants. So he's going to be looking for Frizzell to get the first down. Didn't go there.
Did make the catch, Dudley, for the first down, though, as they convert on 4th down.
How about Dudley? He's been pretty clutch today.
He has, especially on this drive, actually.
Well, he caught the 2 touchdowns earlier. He's their Z receiver, and he's caught 3 little out passes like that. That one on 4th down and 2 others for touchdowns.
Opened the game with 2 touchdowns in his first 3 receptions, and now has 6 for the contest.
I just heard the play call again. Y corner, Frizzell on the corner route if he's open. Well, that's taken away. Oh, boy. Is it ever.
Picked off. It'll be Robinson dancing in for the touchdown.
Well, there's only 2 players in this playoffs who have more than 20 tackles and 2 interceptions. Denison Robinson is one of those, but now make that 3 interceptions in the playoff for Denison Robinson.
He had 5 in the regular season, and as you said, his 3rd here in the playoffs.
Watch it right there. Boom. Steps right in front of the receiver. You know, he is one of these unsung guys of this team. Plays a little bit of offense, but a very good special teams player and a superb defensive player.
The return was 44 yards for the touchdown. Penalty stops the extra point.
And Joey Hamilton just didn't see him. And Denison Robinson jumped the route. Felt that he was going to run that little stack route right in front of him.
He told us that this was the biggest game he'd ever played in.
False start, offense number 93. It's a 5-yard penalty. We'll still play the try.
There's an interesting guy too, Tom. He was a substitute teacher in Baton Rouge, teaches American history there, and the son of his father was an American history professor or teacher as well.
Born in Monroe, Louisiana, now lives in Baton Rouge. They moved to Baton Rouge, he and his family, in the 5th grade, and then pulled up stakes and went to Mobile, Alabama, so he could play at Murphy High School, a power in Alabama high school football there. Extra point good by Franz. There's Denison Robinson, the 44-yard interception return for the touchdown. And Chicago has taken command in Arena Bowl 20. Chicago has broken open a close game to lead it 48-28 with 8 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Just had the longest interception return for a touchdown in Arena Bowl history, as Denison Robinson of Chicago went 44 yards with the Joe Hamilton pass.
Remember, he caused a fumble in the first half as well, did Denison Robinson. So another big playoff game for Robinson.
Hung up in the slack net. That'll be a touchback. One of the owners of the Chicago Rush is Mike Ditka, and he can certainly appreciate the defense his team has played.
And boy, have they. There's the sack, and then the caused fumble by Denison Robinson, and then just a moment ago the interception by Robinson. As you said, set an AFL record 44 yards later. He's blown the game open. Denison Robinson and Mike Ditka.
That was after Orlando had scored to take a 28-24 lead with 2 minutes to go in the half, and 24 straight. That'll be broken by Jerry and James on the pass from Hamilton. Or Dudley it is. Dudley with his 3rd touchdown catch of the game.
No lead is safe in this league, as we have found over the years. I'll tell you, the speed of Javaris Dudley. You know, we saw him in the red zone catch 2 short touchdown passes. This is of the long variety. Joe Hamilton, what a nice job he did stepping up into the pocket, throwing a perfect pass to his Z receiver, Dudley. Now they need a defensive stop, Tom. I mean,
well, they're capable of it, as we've been saying the whole game, and they have yet to demonstrate that defensive prowess. And there's Jay Taylor with a missed extra point. That doesn't help. But Dudley having a big Arena Bowl, the rookie. 7:18 to go, 3rd quarter. Jay Gruden needs to call on his defense. Trailing 48-34. They'd only given up 10 points in the second half of their 2 previous playoff games. They've already surrendered 14 in this third quarter. Taylor's kick to Shaw. Bouncing off 2 tacklers. Cutting back. Still on his feet. There's a flag down. Tripped up as he crosses the 20-yard line. Charlie Davidson got him. And we'll sort out the flag when we come back. First, let's check in with Al Troutwig. To the 11. Charlie Cook catching up to Frizzell.
How about missed tackles, penalties, kicks, turnovers, sacks? I mean, gone terribly well for Jay Gruden's team.
No, they were about a 3-point favorite coming into today. This is Vegas after all.
Yeah, you know, Jay was saying, though, it gets harder and harder to win the Arena Bowl.
Eaton, Frizzell, touchdown.
Nice play by Jake Eaton. Good throw.
Eaton hit all 4 of his passes, all 4 to Frizzell, including the score.
Looks left, good protection that time by number 2, Idris Price, his fullback. That allowed him to come all the way back to the right side to get Jimmy Frizzell. But give that touchdown to Idris Price, who protected for him.
Don't take off.
Taylor. Conversion kick is good.
Kick is up. The kick is good. 8:27 remains in Arena Bowl.
So 55-41, Orlando inches closer. Jay Gruden had to send in his backup quarterback, Jay Eaton, who directed that touchdown drive, but Joe Hamilton a few moments ago loosening up and hoping to get back in the game the next time the Predators have the football. All Eaton did was hit all 4 of his passes for 30 yards and a touchdown, with Jimmy Frizzell catching all 4 of them. Taylor's kick off the net to Russell Shaw. And for more on the injury to Joe Hamilton, let's check with Lewis.
Yeah, Tom, this goes back to that throw that Joe Hamilton had a few moments ago where the ball popped up in the air. He told me that he took a shot to that right shoulder just as he was throwing the ball. You'll see it right here. And as he took the ball and took the hit, he felt a lot of pain. See that? He just got squashed there in the bottom of that pile. So trainers have been massaging that shoulder and gave him a little bit of something to take for pain. But Joe's going to try and come back. That's what he told me just a second ago.
All right. Only 6 of 12 in the second half.
Yeah, 270 pounds of Kareem Smith fall right on his right shoulder.
First order of business, though, if you're an Orlando fan, is a stop. Scipio.
You know, and Matt D'Orazio really gets back and gets rid of the ball so quickly, it's hard to get him sacked.
That's been the key to negating this Orlando rush that undid Philadelphia and Dallas in the playoffs. Second down play. Clock continues to roll down towards 7 minutes.
Big cushion for Bobby Scipio down here at the bottom. Go!
D'Orazio looked that way, changed his mind, and then went back. And incomplete intended for Scipio. As we take a look at our Little Debbie big plays of the game.
Well, this guy's had a few of many, Tom. Bobby Scipio, who has been sensational, leaping and catching and running and fighting his way in the end zone.
Little Debbie big plays, Bobby Scipio of Chicago.
10 catches, 110 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Wow. 10 touchdown catches in the playoffs.
Trying to lob it over there to Cook. Incomplete. It's going to bring up a 4th down for Chicago. So Orlando once again that close to a stop. And Franz on to attempt a field goal on 4th down.
I'll be interested if Joe Hamilton will come back in the next series. The other thing, if that thing's not good, too, I'll tell you, the other, Jerian James is a really good kick returner. If this were to be missed, he's alive.
49-yard field goal attempt.
Well, they just took James out and put Dudley back.
So Dudley deep in case it's missed. It's blocked. It is blocked. That's a free live football.
Okay, another stop for Jay Gruden's defense.
So there's a stop with the defense trying to rally Orlando here late in the game. Fourth quarter. See if we can spot who made the block.
Oh, you know, it was 98. Charles Hill, I think, who got his left arm up and knocked it down.
(55-41) with 5:48 left in Arena Bowl 20. Both teams have 3 stops today. Orlando just got one, and they bring Joe Hamilton back. Hamilton had been shaken up. His backup, Jake Eaton, came on and directed a touchdown drive at 30 yards. Hamilton back on the field for Orlando. There are his numbers.
Blue 8. Blue 8.
Oh, boy. He had Jimmy Frizzell wide open down the middle, didn't see him.
Well, he got it to the 5-yard line anyway, as he does complete that pass to Carter. Carter's tackled by Charlie Cook, but first and goal, Orlando.
Jimmy Frizzell, the offensive specialist, right down the middle of the field. Nobody's covered except the end zone.
Hamilton didn't see him. Frizzell goes in motion on this first and goal play.
They didn't call pass interference on Dennison Robinson throwing the ball to Khalil Carter. I thought Robinson may have gotten there early.
I thought so too.
Maybe they're saying it wasn't catchable. That might have been the call.
Second down and goal. Just been one pass interference call all game. Hamilton's pass. Frizzell can't snag it in traffic. Kind of one-handed.
And Dennison Robinson was waiting for his second interception of the game. He was right in the back of the end zone waiting for it to come to him. There he is, Dennison Robinson. Nice conversation with him yesterday. His mom is named Denise. He's Denise's son, ergo Dennison.
Ergo Dennison is his name?
Yeah. But he's had a heck of a series, hasn't he?
Hamilton's going to keep and score the touchdown.
You know, if your shoulder's hurting, big deal. It's the Arena Bowl. There's no game next week, and Joe Hamilton knows it.
And they're going to quickly line up for the point after, trying to hurry things up as the clock continues to roll.
Good lead block by his fullback. Price allows him to get in. Yeah, the clock keeps running, so get this thing snapped.
Taylor bounds off the upright and again is no good. Taylor has missed a couple of extra points. Joe Hamilton runs it in, though. It's 55-47, Chicago. Alan Levin, one of the owners of the Chicago Rush, his team up 55-47. That last missed extra point by Jake Taylor was big, makes it an 8-point game, which means they might have to go for 2 if they can get a stop and a score. Taylor will kick off.
Onside kick.
Onside kick.
Oh, boy.
Flag is down. The flag is down, and Ruben has it for Orlando, but there's a penalty marker.
Offsides, I think they're going to call on Orlando.
That will negate the onside kick recovery.
Offside on the kicking team, number 3. That's a 5-yard penalty, and the ball belongs to the receiving team. First down.
Ruben, who made the recovery, was offside.
Right up here. He ended up making the recovery, but they were trying to kick it inside away from Davidson. They were trying to kick it actually to Charlie Davidson, but Ruben a little too anxious.
I think that's Jeremy Unertel that is the injured Chicago player.
He's right here.
Davidson spun him around and knocked him down.
Came down really funny on his right leg.
He did.
Yeah, holding his right knee. Boy.
Veteran Bob McMillan looking on. His teammate Jeremy Unertl injured. We'll take a break. Three and a half to play, Arena Bowl 20, Las Vegas. Just moments ago, Jeremy Unertl, the injured Chicago Rush player, helped to his feet and able to gingerly walk off the field.
We're back to action on the field. Chicago in possession of the football.
So Chicago, after the penalty, wipes out the onside kick recovery, takes over inside the 10 of Orlando.
Lin-J Shell on Bobby Scipio.
DeRazio chased from the pocket, scrambling, running, ducking his head, and advancing to the 3-yard line. And you mentioned that Lin-J Shell was defending Bobby Scipio. Shell, as we talked to him yesterday, gave us one of the nicest things ever heard as a reason to play as we look at our Subway game summary. 10 receptions for Scipio, 3 turnovers by Orlando today. We were talking about Lin-J Shell. He says the reason he plays football is not for the money. He plays for his mom and dad who work so hard, and just watching him play is kind of giving them a vacation from their work-dominated life as DeRazio throws it over Scipio's head. And Lin-J Shell, in fact, his parents, Roz and Lynn, watching the game as they always do and getting a bit of a break, although I'm sure they'd be a little happier were Lin-J's Shell's team doing a little better right here. And we mentioned his dad's name, Lynn. His name, Lin-J, is Lynn Jr.
Well, he's drawn a rough assignment, trying to slow down Bobby Scipio.
But it was really refreshing to hear him talk about
nice conversation.
His motivation for playing
off the net. How about that? A design play off the net to Atu Molden.
And he catches it for the score. Off the net, DeRazio to Molden. That's Arena football.
That is incredible. That is incredible. Now, Atu Molden caught a game winner last year, remember, Tom, off the net. But this was a design play because Matt DeRazio threw it right off the net. How many times do you have to practice that?
Oh, and what a good catch.
Wow. You see kickoff returns, you see fumble returns for touchdowns, you see remarkable plays in athletes, and that's another one of them.
Only the 3rd catch for Atu today, but 2 of them have gone for touchdowns. Franz with the extra point. Well, Orlando has made a couple of runs. They've applied some pressure, but Chicago has always had the answer.
Well, Matt DeRazio ought to be smiling. Can you imagine how many times, Tom, you have to practice this? You know, oftentimes the teams don't get a chance really to get into arenas to practice, you know, kicking and catching and throwing off the net. But that was absolutely a design play and kind of a dangerous one because if it comes off hard off the net, guess who's there? Kenny McIntyre.
And did you see the crowd that Scipio drew and then jumped as if the pass were intended for him but over his head? That was all part of the play.
Well, we know you can't overthrow Bobby Scipio.
And it went high off the net and caught by Molden for a sneak peek. Here's Marty.
As you would imagine, Tom, a lot of smiles down here on the Chicago bench. Very happy feeling. Now let's talk about this design play. That was a called play, correct?
Yeah, we've been, you know what, we probably, between us, me and the other quarterbacks, we probably made that throw 300 times this week. And we knew right where it was going to be. I actually threw it a little short, but Atu did a great job adjusting and going for it. We went over it probably 300 times a week.
And also happy to report Jeremy Unertl back on the Chicago bench, expects to go back into the game as well.
Well, 300 times. That's about what it would take to, you know, make that happen. Well, he's 1 for 1. Now, you know, I think, and we had to tell Al in the studio, I think they jumped the gun. That was the play of the year.
And the kickoff sails into the stands for the touchback. So Joe Hamilton with a lot of work to do and not much time to do it. So with 1:10 on the clock.
Matt DeRazio has been sensational. Found a home here. The right teammates. Played last year in Columbus. And as Mike Owens, say, just didn't have the supporting cast. Well, he's got one here.
We mentioned earlier that last offseason, They tried to bring in Mark Grieve, who decided not to come. But Coach Hohensee told us yesterday that he's not shopping for a new quarterback this offseason. We've reached the 1-minute warning in Arena Bowl 20. Will Matt D'Orazio, the young quarterback, lead the rush to victory in his first Arena Bowl appearance?
Lewis Johnson back in Las Vegas. 1 minute to go. Jay Gruden, you're down by 15. We've seen crazier things happen. How do you pull this off?
We just got to get in and out of the huddle, use our timeouts wisely, get it in the end zone, get the onside kick, obviously.
All right, Jay, we'll let you do it. Thanks. Tom?
There's the formula. Then now can you execute it?
Yeah, in and out of the huddle. They've got all 3 of their timeouts remaining. And Nerdl back in the ball game. Tip.
And nearly intercepted.
Bob McMillan had a chance. DeJuan Alfonso got his hands on it again. Bob McMillan, one of the great offensive players in this game. Thought it was interesting, Mike Hohensee early in the year talking about Bob McMillan, saying, you know, he really gave legitimacy to our team in this league in the city of Chicago, because he's just, you know, he's kind of a tough guy, a Chicago kind of guy from the area.
Frizzell goes out of bounds to stop the clock.
Pass off the right side, the number 80, Jimmy Frizzell. Ball is spotted.
49 seconds left. Mike Ditka, co-owner of the Chicago Rush, who is noted on more than one occasion his admiration for these players who play for the love of the game and play both ways in most cases. Hamilton again, they underneath to Dudley.
Hamilton on the right side to Javaris Dudley.
Chicago, of course, willing to give them this underneath stuff in order to make them use some time. Down to 43 seconds.
Well, you know, again, Jay Gruden gave the absolute formula. If they can get this ball in the end zone, they're still going to have to get 2 points at some point, right?
Yeah.
I think you try to kick the extra point, you try the onside kick, and ultimately you're going to need a 2-point play.
What eight?
Hamilton. Frizzell backs into the end zone. Did he get in? No. Ruled out of bounds at the 1-foot line. Well, that could have saved him a few seconds.
Absolutely, or a use of a timeout, yeah. Right?
Illegal defense. Defensive end number 98 was drifting. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a first down.
Well, John Sikora on the drifting, but I couldn't see where the ball was. Once he's had contact into the sideboard, the play is over, but I couldn't tell where the ball was.
Well, the penalty actually saved them a timeout. And now first and goal. Hamilton back in the back of the end zone to Dudley for another touchdown. Javaris Dudley, as Orlando marches down the field, and they have 33 seconds left. Let's see if they're going to kick or go for 2. It looks like Taylor's out to kick.
Yeah, you want to kick 1 here and go for 2. Again, if you lead it, you see Joe Hamilton just finding a way, jumping over the defender, or jumping to throw the ball over the defender was Joe Hamilton.
This is a key extra point kick for Taylor, who's missed a couple.
Absolutely.
This one good.
Okay.
So now the onside kick, just like Coach Gruden said. Now they'll attempt the onside kick. And while they line up for the kick, let's do our U.S. Army Iron Man of the game.
Any surprise that we give it to DeJuan Alfonso? He's been the entire playoffs. Tipped 2 balls today. That was one of them. There's the second one. Nearly the interception by McMillan. And then how about on offense, where he makes a play? Special teams did it all.
So DeJuan Alfonso of Chicago is our U.S. Army Iron Man of the game.
Well, onside kicks are a part of this league. And Orlando is 0 for the season in recovering onside kicks. They just recovered one, but was, you know, they were offside, but 0 for 6. The AFL average a little over 11%.
Well, we saw the Chicago kicker Dan France play a big part in Chicago taking command of the game. Now Taylor has an opportunity here. There it is, high pop.
Yeah, is that Dewan Alfonso?
That was Alfonso that caught it, the Iron Man, and then took a shot from Nagel.
Oh, man.
Held on to the football, Dewan Alfonso.
Yeah, Mike Owens, he calls him my smartest player.
He epitomizes AFL football, doesn't he?
Yeah, Iron Man football, made the all-Iron Man team. And one thing, he's a guy I think he just kicked away from. You know, he just always seems to make clutch plays. They took a shot by Kevin Nagel into the sideboards. So 32 seconds remaining before Chicago wins its very first Arena Bowl championship. The ownership group there.
With Commissioner Baker. Alfonso! Why not give him one?
Let's give him 2 Iron Man of the Game awards. Dewan Alfonso right down the middle of the Orlando defense that has been so tough in these playoffs, particularly the last 2 weeks. But he's gutted them again. Think he'll take a break? No, he's holding.
Extra point is good by Dan France.
Well, what an afternoon for Matt D'Orazio, who has been really sensational. 6 touchdowns, no interceptions. Dewan Alfonso doing it all 3 phases of the game. And they hook up to apparently put this game at a reach. He throws the ball awfully accurately off that back foot. That does.
Got it down to a fine science.
He shoots free throws pretty well, too, with touch like that.
Mike Hohensee, who's waited so long. And the ownership group, Jim Foster, who originated the game. Mike Ditka's there. Matt D'Orazio. And there's Dennison Robinson, who made our ADT defensive play of the game.
Well, he made a couple. A fumble, he caused a fumble in the first quarter, and then this interception and set an AFL record 44 yards later. Had a big game on defense last week. Dennison Robinson, the ATT defensive play of the game. The substitute teacher from Louisiana. Go back to teaching a little American history in the offseason.
Made a little history today, too.
Yeah, indeed.
44-yard interception return, the longest in Arena Bowl history. Jerry and James, after having trouble fielding it, just tripped up at the 10-yard line. So Joe Hamilton now with just 24 seconds. Mike Hohensee was so emotional when he talked to us, so emotional when he spoke with his team. Waited so long to get back to the Arena Bowl after playing in the very first one.
Remember, he gave his team the Arena Bowl itinerary before the playoffs started. And they followed it to a T.
It's still at his desk back in Chicago. Davidson catches out of bounds after he picks up the first down. The Chicago defense forcing Orlando into 3 turnovers today, and the young quarterback Matt D'Orazio has just been outstanding. There's D'Orazio, 6 touchdown passes without an interception, and ran for 2 scores as well.
And again, the accuracy is 26 of 34.
And Bobby Scipio, 10 catches, 3 touchdowns. Dan France, the kicker. A lot of heroes. Davidson makes a nice catch in traffic over Robinson. Charlie Davidson, the 11-year veteran from Mississippi State, made a nice catch. But we're down to 13 seconds.
Joe Hamilton just locked into Charlie Davidson that entire way, and it pays off. gets that running start on what they call loop motion, and then just an athletic play at the top over Denison Robinson. Just when you think the game is over, you know, they find a way to maybe try another onside kick, make a game of it, right?
First, Taylor has to hit the point after.
Yeah, that's the absolute first thing. Okay.
And he does.
All right.
Well,
now 8-point game again. Wow. I tell you, you know, you just love Joe Hamilton. Absolutely no quit, just keeps chucking. And Charlie Davidson in his second tour of duty with the Orlando Predators in his 11th year for Mississippi State makes a great play over a good defensive play by Denison Robinson. Can't believe it, you know.
Can't relax.
Onside, you can. The game's not over in this league. Onside kick attempt. They're 0 for 7 now.
Jay Gruden, who is one of the best of the first 20 years as a player, quarterback. In his 7th year as Orlando coach in 2 different stints. And as you mentioned earlier, Pat, he said he's trying to impress upon his team how hard it is to get back to the Arena Bowl. So enjoy it, and you enjoy it a lot more if you play well. And they've had some miscues today, uncharacteristically.
Mike Owens is always coaching. You know, you have on the 2 sides you got DeJuan Alfonso over here and Bobby Scipio on this side right here. So either side you kick it to, you've got some guys who are pretty capable of going up and getting the ball.
Well, Arena football, we've had 4 touchdowns in the last minute 20. Taylor's onside kick attempts.
And Alfonso got it again.
Why not?
I would have tried the other side, maybe.
Or the middle, or somewhere.
Anywhere, but not in his direction. You know, they're just those little plays, those subtle things you don't think about. But DeJuan Alfonso, second time in a row, Mike Hohensee was talking to him right before this play. And you know that you talk about the leaps that he had, what a great basketball player he was. He won the high school, you know, slam dunk contest. And he was above the rim on that play. Now in this league, you must advance the ball.
Orazio
is going
to take as much time as he can and then throw it into the stands.
Not only throw in the stands, he knew exactly where the Chicago fans were. He threw it up to the Chicago fans.
That's how accurate he's been all game, huh?
I think he's got some pals up. See all the Chicago jerseys? He knows. That's a heads-up guy.
Reggie Lee on the other side of the equation. The Orlando Predators. But this Chicago team, the most unlikely of champions, 7-9 in the regular season. If they've gone on a roll, they will be 7-1 over the last 8 games.
And 4 straight road victories.
Like the Pittsburgh Steelers, who marched on the road to win the Super Bowl, the Chicago Rush. On the road, every playoff game, Coach Hohensee gets a bath. The man who waited so long to return to the Arena Bowl. He couldn't bear to come and see it because he had waited so long to get back after playing in the first Arena Bowl game. His young quarterback, Matt D'Orazio. Coach Mike Hohensee, his best friend Mike Daly, the coach of the Colorado Crush, who won the championship last year, here to see him today and to celebrate with him now after winning the Arena Bowl championship. Mike Daly saying he was more nervous watching his best friend coach the Arena Bowl than he was last year when he won it on the sideline. Mike Ditka, who's personified Chicago sports for so many years, takes another championship back to the Windy City as the Chicago Rush claim the title of Arena Bowl 20 in their first Arena Bowl appearance. Let's go down to Marty.
Hard to believe that at one point this team was 3-5. Matt, did you guys ever doubt that this could happen when you guys were sitting at 3-5?
No, it's kind of funny. We believed all year long. You know what? God is good all the time. First and foremost, God is good all the time. you know what? This team doesn't give up. This organization doesn't give up. We got the best fans in arena football in Chicago, and you know what? We're happy to bring it home for them. You know, it's a total team effort. Total team effort.
You were supposed to be the best man in a wedding today. Did you make the right decision in playing in the game?
You know what, Brady and Mandy, I hope your first day of marriage is great. Sorry I missed it, but bringing home the trophy for you.
You got a lot of friends that coaches back in Columbus, Ohio, watching you today. What does it mean to win for your family, your dad, Ryu? He helped you get to this point.
It means so much. All the people that have supported this team and me throughout the whole thing, you know, it feels good to prove them right. That they believed in a winner, and we proved them right.
All right, he wanted to win it for Coach Hohensee. He does. Orazio accounted for 8 touchdowns today. Tom?
Well, Matt and the Rush believed, and now we all believe as they take the Arena Bowl championship over the Orlando Predators. Now let's go to Lewis for the official trophy presentation.
All right, Tom, thanks so much. A lot of excitement here in the building, and we have the commissioner of the Arena Football League, Mr. David Baker, ready to make the presentation to the Chicago Rush. Go ahead, sir.
Thanks, Lewis, and we'd like to thank all of Las Vegas for one of the great parties of all time. And I'm here with Jim Foster, the founder of our game, and we are proud to present the Foster Trophy to the guys who've won 4